Just having a positive mindset and applying and following success strategies does not equal success. Now, elite coaches and success gurus out there, like Bob Proctor and Tony Robbins, who I follow and admire greatly, all say that mindset is 80%, and mechanics being following a strategy, having a strategy and applying it, is 20% of success. Bob Proctor actually said it's 90% mindset and only 10% carrying through a strategy. Now, with me and my deeper truths, I'd like to see beyond that. It's not equal for everyone. Yes, there are a lot of core similarities in strategies and mindsets that are critical to success, absolutely, but they reap different results for different people. So many people that have reaped great rewards and have had successful results are often using different strategies and applying it very differently. It's pretty much the same example as 3 plus 3 equals 6, 4 plus 2 equals 6, 5 plus 1 equals 6, 12 divided by 2 equals 6. While they're all different methods, you're all kind of getting the same result. Now, besides that, if you look at two different case studies, you would notice that while these two people are adopting the same mindsets and the same strategies, their results are different. The one person will have extreme success as a result, and the other person will reap just paltry rewards. And that's probably why so many of the successful people that I follow often say, especially when it comes to investing in that, Warren Buffett said himself, that there is an element of luck involved. Luck? Luck? Now that intrigues me. It's like, what's the deeper truth beyond that? We do know that a positive mindset and following an optimized strategy will definitely increase your luck. So, but what else can we do to bridge the gap so that the changes are not as drastic from person to person? This is what I've discovered, and I'm happy to share it. So it's obviously personal. So just as different people get different results, even if they apply the same strategy, each person is different to their own degree as well. Every single one of us, the only commonality to humanity is we're all different. As Dr. John Demartini often states, that every single person is born with a unique set of values and priorities that are unique to them. And that sets them apart from everyone else. In fact, I go as far as to say that that is pretty much your authentic self. I don't believe that this is by any accident. I believe that there is an intelligence that goes beyond our own thinking, and we see it in how Mom Nature, when she's left alone, she governs herself. We also don't have to think our hearts to beat or our bodies to digest our food. There's an intelligence that takes care of that. Just as in universally, how the planets follow elliptical cycles in a very, very intelligent manner. For me, the problem is we often are aligning to other people's values and priorities and principles instead of aligning to our own. How did it get to this? It's because from an early age, we've always been conditioned by peers, parents, teachers, preachers, the government, and mainstream media. And while we were growing up, we were rewarded with acknowledgement and love and acceptance if we conformed, and if we didn't conform, then often a lot of us got punished as a result. Now, I'm not trying to throw our parents under the wagon here. They obviously just saw what worked for them and then said, well, if this works for me, it's going to work for you, so adopt this wisdom. And as we see the evidence, it doesn't always work out equally for everybody. So the major problem is we identify with other people's values and principles and their aptitudes, and we don't identify with our own. Now, the result that this leads to is we often block our own personal success because it's not aligned to our values, principles, priorities, and aptitudes. And even if we are lucky enough to gain levels of success and goals achieved, our fulfillment at the end of that is very shallow. And for me, real success is not just having a goal come true or just realizing a goal. It's actually the whole enchilada, having the fulfillment that comes with it. Now, we all know the stories of Robin Williams and Chester Bennington. Chester Bennington being the lead singer of Linkin Park. Okay, tragic stories, and pretty much everybody out there has a much closer to home version of the story of a family member, which is utterly heartbreaking. And for me, this cause is very important because I want people to have fulfillment and to steer away from depression, sadness, stress, and anxiety. The reason being for this is I was there for 3 years. So I believe it's important for us to aim for higher levels of fulfillment, because when you aim for higher levels of fulfillment, you are aligned to what is uniquely, authentically you. And when you do this, you will immediately display grit, you'll display persistence, consistency, and obviously the journey and along the road of this purpose will be far more rewarding. And that's really important to me. So how do we step up to higher levels of fulfillment? We need to be consciously aware of our unique authenticity. We need to tap into our uniqueness. Now, this is important, as Dr. John Demartini points out, that when we are aligned with our authentic uniqueness, we then open up the tap to our inner genius and our inner leader. Now, let me explain that, because when you are aligned with what is important to you and what is aligned to you and where what you naturally gravitate towards, okay, it's only natural that you're going to step up into the leadership role, because you're passionate about whatever it is you're doing, or the nature, the values and priorities that you're fulfilling. Now, the opposite is if you don't really care so much about whatever it is that you're dealing with, and you're doing it because it's you've been conditioned towards it, you're naturally going to let other people that are connected to it and aligned with it and that have a passion and a purpose and it's high on their values and priorities, they're naturally going to step into the leadership, and you're going to look like a follower. Now, some of us will say, thanks very much, but I know me fine, thank you very much. I don't need anyone to tell me that I don't know who I am and where I'm going, or if I'm conditioned to following other people. So I've got a challenge for you. If that's so, great. But if it isn't so, then can you answer these 2 questions? And you need to be able to answer these questions super succinctly, without stammering, stuttering, and to the point, and being eloquent. Question 1. Can you define your top 3 values, priorities, aptitudes, and principles? Can you define them without any hesitation whatsoever? Question 2. Can you recite your individual vision, mission, purpose, and intention? Preferably all 4, being slightly different. Even if you've got one of these down, it's pretty good. So these questions are not easy. I've given them a lot of intention, and I still do. I still often refine and redefine them, because we know that change is the only constant, and our purpose can evolve as we grow. So let me give you an example let me answer those 2 questions for you. My top 3 values and priorities are my family. They are very important to me, and they're always, whenever there's any critical decisions that come up, they're the first things I think of. The next 2 are actually related, and it is researching and teaching. Every opportunity I get, I'm researching these, and I'm looking at all the different evidences, and I do a lot of soul searching, and so I do a lot of searching outside of myself online, and I do a lot of searching inside of myself, where I'm actually looking at my intuition and inspiration and tapping into that. My answer to question 2, my vision is that I wish to see that the levels of depression and divorce globally are reduced. I'm committed to that. So while reducing the levels of depression and divorce, I also seek to be able to increase the levels of prosperity, freedom, and fulfillment worldwide. Those are my big commitments that are my vision. So now, how did I discover them, and how can you? There's 3 steps. The first step is being consciously aware of your own conditioning. Am I stepping into other people's values and priorities and their values that I've learned along the way, or am I following my own? Number 2, self-assess. I've surfed the internet plenty, and there's literally thousands of self-assessments that you can find online, and I've explored plenty of them. I've actually shrunk them down to 6 of them that I reckon are the best, and I've done all of these assessments more than twice. I try and do them every year so that I am really aware, consciously aware of me, myself, and I. Where are my aptitudes? Where are my values? Where are my principles? And how can I step into and be aligned with that unique, authentic individuality that I was created by the universal intelligence that created me, by this creative force, which is pretty much the most powerful force that there is out there. Point 3 is to record your journey. They say hindsight is 20/20. Now, I don't want you to keep looking over your shoulder, because that messes with your neck, just as jumping to conclusions can bugger up your knees. But if you can see where you're coming from, pretty much you can follow through that trajectory, and you can see pretty much and point out exactly where you're going. Now, is it where you're going? Is it aligned with what you really want? Is it aligned with that vision, mission, intention, and purpose that you are seeking to align with? That is essentially you, the core you. So when you record your journey, you also have all this reference that you can look at. So for me, I was able to look at all the case studies that I've done for success strategies, and I would actually tabulate them, and I'd research them, and out of that I created a tutorial called Training with Titans, and then I can see that and say, right, this is me, this is the research that I do that I'm super intrigued with. I also then recorded my journey of when I was stuck in depression, and I was stuck in the deep, dark quicksand of depression, and I was able to really go in deep, assess this, and it was not easy. It was bloody hard, and I was able to then to see how I could personally pull myself through it in the ways that aligned with me. Now, I also have created a training out of that, which is the stress, anxiety, and depression, the SAD training, SAD. And that has now become part of my purpose, as I have that to offer. Now, there's an important key that you need to remember while you're self-assessing, while you're doing this, and while you are coming to these points, is to be as objective as possible and to bring as little judgment to the table as possible. We all know that it's very easy when we're doing our self-assessments and we're looking at ourselves, it's very easy to look at the good within us, but it's very difficult to look at whatever's the dark side of ourselves. We all love to think of ourselves as generous and never stingy. However, there's times where we are. We're the sum of all the parts. And it's sometimes difficult to look at the parts that we have often suppressed, oppressed, repressed, and pushed down that we don't always want to look at. I want you to see those parts of yourselves that you're not always proud of. Okay, I want you to look at them very objectively and see them. They are beacons that are pointing you to your finding your own authenticity. They are beacons that are helping you point to your path. They're not there to be oppressed, repressed, suppressed, pushed down, because when you do that, then you get depressed. So it's all about objectively bringing your opposites into balance for greater enlightenment. So there's some important points to remember. So that which is outside of you is outside of your control, more often than not. Okay. That which is within you is within your control. So it's important not to let your conditions rule your decisions. Focus on your internal processes, that which is going on within. Okay? Because your thoughts, your perceptions, your beliefs, and your intentions all add up to your current circumstances and your future circumstances. Now, that's where your true power lies. Because if you concentrate on manipulating outside conditions, you'll just get frustrated because they're not really within your control. Whereas if you focus on what is within your control and what is within, then you tap into your power. Okay, so let's quickly sum up. So having a positive mindset and applying success strategies, especially the tried and tested ones, yes, they are critical, but they don't yield the same results for everyone across the board. Results are different. Point 2, be aware of your unique, authentic individuality. Be aware of how you've misaligned with it in the past and how you can align with it in the present and for the times to come. Remember to self-observe and self-assess. Point 3, articulate your authentic individuality so that it reflects your passions, your principles, your purpose in ways that you can become a fulfillment factory. Point 4, living in alignment with your true authentic self is the first step to harnessing your true power. Remember, it unlocks your genius and your leadership, especially your self-leadership. And it opens the doors to your larger fulfillment. Now, if this resonates with anyone, and if anyone is keen to follow up and to maybe do this work, then I actually have good news for you. Those 6 assessments that I searched the internet for are available to you if you want them. Even the strategy that is the training with Titans is available to you as well. The training that I also mentioned, the stress, anxiety, and depression, the SAD training, which is emotional management, is available to you as well. And they're all on a platform which is my academy, which is the Success Loops Mastery Academy. And all you have to do, if they're completely free of charge, it won't cost you anything. All I'll be wanting from you is to give me your email address. And once you do that, you will be actually becoming part of the Labyrinth Success Circle. And with that, you'll be getting access to those 6 assessments to point you to the real authentic you, to open up your doors to fulfillment. It'll give you the Training with Titans tutorials, which are very uniquely presented. And we're looking at Tony Robbins, Gary Vee, Dean Graziosi, John Assaraf, and all of their success strategies that are there. If any one of us is looking for emotional management, and all the wealthy and successful people say that you've got to master your emotions before you can master your success or your investing or your endeavors, that is available to you as well. In there as well, another free resource is the Becoming Decisive training, because often when our biorhythms go up and down, when we in a bit of a doldrum, we need to sometimes kick our own ass to be able to get ourselves a bit more decisive and get going. There is a Becoming Decisive 1-pager so that we can cure ourselves of any indecision. You'll also be subscribing to a bi-monthly email. So it's just 2 a month because, man, we don't like to be flooded with emails all the time as it so happens. So you'll be getting 1 email a month, which is the beginning of the month, which is the newsletter, which keeps you up to date to any of the innovations. You'll be getting all of my research and upfront for free, because later they go into trainings. And halfway through the month, where we need a bit of a kick in the butt, you'll be getting an inspired quote. In addition to this, for those that require online support, there is a Facebook group that you can join. So there is a community there that we can have online support, where we can ask questions and gain support from each other. And that is the Labyrinth Circle of Success. If you're interested, join up. You'll be joining the first tier of the Labyrinth Circle. It is the priming and it's the free foundation. You won't be charged for anything. It's all free resources. This cause is close to my heart. As you heard in my vision, I'd like to see lower levels of depression and higher levels of prosperity. So that's it from me. Here's to our collective success. Peace out. Much love.
The Big Cigar.